All right, so let's go now to chapter 2. He says in verse 1, having put aside then, okay, after all this stuff he said, having put aside then, this is where you should be now. You should be now, having put aside then all evil, all deceit and hypocrisies and envyings and all evil words. Notice that that's first. He says you should be approaching things as a newborn. Now, I want you to understand something. I want you to have an image in your mind about how this kind of should work. I don't want you to think that you're supposed to come to this. Let me just grab a couple of pens. I got a water bottle here. I got a phone. You got all this stuff, right? So anybody's listening, they're not going to know what I'm talking about. So I picked up a lot of items. I got all these things. Think of these as positions, doctrines, beliefs, and that kind of stuff. A lot of you want to do is you got all your stuff, and you're going to take each one and think, I wonder if I should put this down. Well, I kind of like it, I don't know, and you kind of play that game. See, what you should do is take everything, put it all down, empty yourself of all these things, and then pick things up one at a time going, I wonder if it's okay to pick this up. Now you're not as attached to it emotionally because you already put it down. You see? See, if you're still holding it, you still have attachments. Think about the things that you still struggle about because you should have probably put it down. Hey, and no bad thing is going to happen if you put something down that would have been okay to hold on to. You just didn't have it for a little while. But some bad things can definitely happen if you hold on to something you should have put down. Want me to say that again? Nothing bad happens if you didn't happen to hold on to something that would have been okay. You could always pick it back up. But it might not go very well for you if you hold on to something that you should have put down. But you have emotional attachments. And so he says here, look, having put aside all this stuff, now come as a newborn babe. We got some newborns in the room. Do they have anything? Nope. Do they even know that they own or have anything? Nope. They're just they don't even know they can control their hands yet. Every now and then they go, oh, wow, that's mine. Where'd that come from? Okay? As a newborn babe, you're supposed to approach this. You have nothing. Newborn babe comes out of the womb naked with nothing. You need to let everything go. Start from scratch. Start picking up the things one at a time that you need to pick up. Probably most of what you need to be picking up and adding to what you have is stuff that you never had anyway because nobody ever told you. You weren't taught this stuff this way. He says, look, having put aside all this stuff, as newborn babes, desire the unadulterated milk of the word in order that you grow by it. In other words, the unadulterated milk. Don't come here and start reading through Scripture the way your pastor used to teach it or your Sunday school teacher used to teach it or whatever it is that you used to know. You need to go ahead and wipe that slate clean and start from scratch. Okay? The biggest problem, I know you've heard me say this 5 million times, is that the body of Messiah at the moment has people that are teaching that have not put everything down. All they've done is make some simple mechanical changes. The mechanical stuff is easy. It isn't that hard mechanically to move from Sunday to Saturday. It's not that hard to stop eating pork and shrimp and etc. And it's not that, maybe a little tough to start reading ingredients where they really sneak it in, but the easy stuff like the fact that you're not eating pork and you're not eating shellfish and that kind of stuff is easy. Not complicated. Not that tough to stop doing Christmas and Easter and start keeping the biblical holy days. These are mechanical things. But what about all of the positional, mindset, doctrinal stuff? Like the understanding of salvation, the understanding of grace, the understanding of whatever it is. It's all these things that you were taught in whatever place you came from. Because all these guys that are out there that have not done that, they're trying to teach an adulterated word. Because it's still filtered through. That's why when you hear them, you still hear the Baptist, the Pentecostal, the Methodist, the Adventist, the Catholic, whatever it is, you hear that. And don't tell me you don't, because if you were one of them, you recognize it. If you weren't, you don't. Okay? But I've had people tell me, oh yeah, I listen to so-and-so, oh boy, you can really hear the Baptist coming out of him. I don't know what that sounds like. I never was a Baptist, but you do, because you were. Or you were charismatic, or you were Lutheran, or you were Methodist, or you were, I don't know, there's so many flavors, whatever you were, right? You recognize it, don't you? That I would call adulterated. It's still going through the attachments of where they came from, the filters of where they came from. They should not be teaching till they put everything aside and got retrained as newborn babes. But that would require, let's pretend this is a microphone, that would require taking that mic out of their hand and not being in the public eye and all that stuff and sitting at somebody's feet. Put that down, go get trained. Because you think that everything that you knew was okay, except a few things that you kind of came comfortable with letting go of. Instead of putting it all down and saying, I'm a newborn babe, I need a teacher, I don't have a clue what I'm doing. Oh no, but they don't think that way. It's hard to think that way. And so then you guys all find a lot of these guys and think, oh, well, they're keeping Sabbath, and they're not doing Christmas and Easter, and they're not eating pork. Hey, they probably know what they're talking about. I might want to listen to this person. Not always the case. Most of these people haven't been doing this more than 3, 4, 5, 8 years at the most. Takes a long time to unlearn. Anybody know what I'm talking about? How many of you have been doing this for between 5 and 10 years? Are you still struggling to unlearn some things? See, unlearning stuff. So think about these guys with the microphones. If they've only been doing this 5, 8, 7 years, whatever it is, do you think they're struggling like you are to unlearn some things? Or are they just smarter than you? You know, they're struggling like you're struggling. And the reason they struggle is what? Because it's hard to put everything down and then come as a newborn babe. Very hard.